There's no creature more loving and loyal than a dog. In fact, your dog will put up with a lot of things that you do without realizing what effect they are having on your pooch. While you're going about your usual daily routines, your dog might be feeling severe mental distress without showing any signs of upset. How can you tell which of your actions are secretly hurting your dog? In this video, we'll pick through 8 things that your dog secretly hates. Before we dive in, why not subscribe and join our canine loving community for more videos like this? When your dog is gazing lovingly at you, or your yummy dinner, it's almost an automatic reaction to pet your cute pupster on the top of their head. After all, the head is usually the highest part of the dog, meaning it's closest to you, and so the easiest to reach. Plus, your dog will often come and sniff at your hand, thus putting their heads within easy touching distance. But a lot of dogs, yours probably included, would prefer that you try to pet them somewhere, well, almost anywhere, else. Being pet on the top of a head involves a human leaning over them in a way that can feel intimidating. Dogs also often dislike having people's hands too close to their face, for roughly the same reason that you'd be uncomfortable with somebody flapping their hands near your face. It's infringing on their personal space bubble. If you want to pet your dog in a way they'll properly enjoy, try going for the shoulders or neck area instead. And you won't believe how many dogs also like being scratched under their collar. While your well-mannered dog most likely takes that darn head petting with good grace, at least from their beloved owner, that doesn't mean that they're up for the next best thing: being picked up. How would you like it if somebody scooped you up off the ground when you were halfway through doing something important? Although well-behaved dogs generally won't try and avoid being picked up, you can recognize when a dog doesn't want to be scooped by looking at their body language. A dog who wants to stay on the ground will often stiffen up at your touch. Their ears may be flat, and you might notice them yawning a lot. Sharing is caring, as the kindergarten teachers say, and many people assume that this must also apply to their dogs. They might let their dog snuggle up in one of their blankets or give them one of their old toys to play with. But this can actually be pretty distressing for dogs. Dogs are very concerned over ownership. They want to know with absolute certainty which things belong to them and which don't. If you give them one of your things to play with or sleep on, then they might get confused and upset when you try taking it back. In plain words, you see it as a loan. They see it as a gift. Equally, a lot of dogs will get upset if you try and take away their toys. This is understandable. You wouldn't like it if somebody randomly started taking away your stuff without asking permission. But it's also a bit of an inconvenience, because dogs aren't famous for their ability to use a washing machine. What do you do if your dog's toys are getting stinky, but they won't let you wash them? The trick is to offer them something in trade. Instead of just picking up the toy and making off with it, or worse, trying to pull it from the dog's mouth, try offering them a different toy or a high-value treat to distract them. While they're off playing with the new thing, you can take the opportunity to remove the old toy and put it in the wash. And here's a pro tip. Once it's clean and dry, consider wrapping it in one of your dog's blankets to try and get some of its old scent back. Humans are very language-oriented creatures. We learn to speak from a very young age, and after that we depend on words for most of our communication. Animals are different. Although dogs can learn some human words, they are still mainly focused on body language. As a result, one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're training their pups is to focus on their words while ignoring what their body language is saying. For example, a lot of owners when training their dog to stay will issue the command, but then, because they're naturally keen to encourage their dog, they'll end up subconsciously leaning towards them and maybe even reaching their arms out in their direction. To a dog, regardless of what the human's mouth might be saying, this body language says, "Come over here," clear as a bell. As a result, the human ends up frustrated when their dog keeps ignoring their commands and coming over to them, while the dog is just confused as to why they aren't being rewarded when, from their perspective, they were clearly following instructions. A hateful miscommunication, if we've seen one. Ever given your dog a treat only to have them completely ignore it? They could just be bored with the treats they're getting, or experiencing some kind of tummy upset that's affecting their appetite. Or it could even be a sign that they don't fully trust you to feed them. But before you jump to those kinds of dramatic conclusions, maybe take a moment to ask yourself, can your dog definitely see the treat? Much like the Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic Park, your dog has difficulty seeing things that aren't moving. They're not completely blind to them, luckily enough, as otherwise they'd probably end up bumping into walls, but they find it harder to focus. Most breeds also have longish noses, which effectively block them from seeing anything too close to the middle of their face. Very long-nosed breeds will often have extra cells in their eyes to try and make up for this. Often, when a dog is thrown a treat and goes to eat it, they're not actually seeing where the treat landed on the ground, but are rather going by where they think it should have landed, based on the trajectory it took through the air. If you want your pup to properly appreciate their treats, therefore, make sure they're looking when you throw them. Otherwise, they might think you're trying to trick them and get frustrated with you. Seeing your dog get into a fight with another dog is one of the most terrifying experiences any dog owner can have. One moment, you're just having a fun day at the dog park. The next, you're either watching your dog suffer a vicious attack, or worse, seeing your innocent pup decide to randomly jump another dog. But hold on before you step in. Check the body language of both dogs. Are they moving quickly and efficiently, or are they bouncing around? Are their bodies stiff or relaxed? Is one dog noticeably overpowering the other, or do they appear to be taking turns? Dogs do get into fights sometimes, but they also play in ways that mimic fighting. Not being able to tell the difference can lead to you unnecessarily stepping in and breaking up a perfectly friendly encounter. This is something that may frustrate your dog about you to no end, as they will feel like they are always restricted from socializing. If your dog doesn't get to interact with others of their species because of you, they may come to resent all social contact. So as your dog and another pooch start goofing around, watch their body language. Playful dogs will have their ears and tails up, will play bow, and will noticeably not take any opportunities they might have to run away or seriously overpower the other dog. Everyone knows that dogs hate fireworks. In the USA, more dogs run away on the 4th of July than at any other time of year. As such, many people take the precaution of locking their dog in the bathroom or the garage during events where they know there will be fireworks. This might seem like a kind idea, but think about it from the dog's perspective. The sky is exploding. The humans are gone. They're trapped in this small space and they can't get out. It doesn't sound exactly relaxing, does it? Keeping a dog inside the house while there are fireworks is a good idea if their owner is able to sit with them and comfort them. If the human family members want to go out and enjoy the fireworks, however, then it's better to try and arrange for the pets to be cared for somewhere else, with family, or even at a dog-sitting service. If you can't isolate them from the sounds of fireworks completely, try playing soothing music to cover up those popping sounds that your dog fears the most. Woof! Woof! It can be fun to bark at your dog, especially when they respond by barking back at you. It's like you're having a conversation. But unfortunately, no matter how good you may think you are at imitating a barking dog, and we're sure you're great, you're unlikely to fool a real-life pooch anytime soon. Most dogs, when their humans bark at them and they bark back, aren't thinking, "Yay, the human is speaking my language." They're thinking, "Oh no, the human is making weird, scary noises. Maybe barking will fix it." It's a shame, but when talking to your dog, it's actually better to just use your own language rather than trying to imitate theirs. A crime has been committed. A crime against doggy kind. I, Canine Detective Sherlock Bones, and my loyal assistant Dr. Woofing are on the case. In this video, we're going to be investigating 11 terrible crimes committed by otherwise loving dog owners against their beloved pets.